Hey, welcome to the She Grows podcast. We're so glad you're here. I'm Danielle Doss.
And I'm Jen Matthews. And look, around here, we are just all about growing deep roots into Jesus and living out just like a bold, obedient faith together.
Yeah, and you know what? We love to hear stories or questions or maybe God is stirring something up in you.
Yeah.
And we want to know what the Lord is doing. So maybe you have some feedback. It's our very best way to help better serve you guys.
Yeah.
And so if you have that, send it on. We want to get that. Also, we have a really great conversation set up for today.
Yes, we do. And if anything in this conversation resonates with you, we would love for you to take just a second to send us a comment, shoot us a message, something so we know how to serve you well. Look, today's conversation builds on last week's conversation a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be really great. But if you didn't catch last week's, you're going to want to go back and listen. But let's get into today's conversation.
Yeah, let's
Are you
do
ready?
it. Yeah, let's do it.
Welcome to the She Grows podcast.
Woo-hoo. So
We're
good to be
so glad to be back. Yes.
Yeah.
Every single Thursday, here we are.
Yep.
We love being able to do life with you guys in this way. But listen, before we get into our conversation today, we just wanted to ask you for a big favor. We are starting something new here. We are new on YouTube. If you're listening on the audio podcast, you can't see us, but you have the ability to. So if you like that.
And Jen
pop
always
over.
wears the cutest thing, so you're going to want to see just for fashion advice. Yeah.
We'll see. There's a lot more pressure when it's ingrained on the internet.
That's true.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
But what would help us so much, and this is across the board, is if you would take just a little bit of time out of your day to leave a rating, a review on YouTube if you'll like, subscribe, share it with somebody. Just help us build the noise about She Grows, because we know the stories that we have heard from people who are just really growing through these conversations. And the more we create some buzz about it, the more women who will get it in their feed, they'll come across it, it'll become available to them. So that would be such a huge help.
Yeah.
Come on, friends. Be a friend.
Speaking of friends,
Speaking of friends. Well, we're going to dig into a new conversation today, and it is going to be one that's really great right off the back of our last conversation. And we're going to take a turn from last week. We talked about community and the detriment of loneliness, like why we're going to run from loneliness. And so today we're going to take it a step farther from loneliness to even what do you do in those moments when you feel literally invisible, those unseen moments.
Yeah. You know, we did, like you said, we talked about loneliness last week, but also the power of feeling invisible and how detrimental that is to us. And just like what we talked about last week in the podcast is where you can be in a space and still feel very much alone. And so whenever you talk about the value of being seen versus how the heartache brings of like just not being seen and in relationship and then also with God.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting because, you know, much like the conversation about community, this can be present in a room full of people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that you're alone in these moments per se, but in a room full of people, you can still feel invisible.
Yeah.
And, you know, we are not here to pretend like that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think it would be easier for us to be like, well, just don't do it. Don't feel that way. But that's not real life.
Goodbye.
And so we do want to talk to the tenderness of the heart
Yep.
of where that is a reality for you.
Yep.
And then also speak hope and life to that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where we want to start is just that it's normal to want to be seen, to want to be known by people.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that probably started in the garden, right? Because Adam and Eve were able to walk with the Lord. They were fully known. They knew him. Like it was just this walk of honesty.
There was no question about it.
Yeah.
It is what it is at that moment. You know, like you take it for granted that every day of, oh, that's God walking around with me. Yeah.
Yeah. but they were just fully known, even
Yeah.
down to their bare bottoms. And it was just honest and vulnerable and completely okay.
Yeah.
So I think there's a reason that we want that. Like the whole scripture is about getting back to Eden and getting
Yeah.
back to that perfection. So
Yeah.
I think it's a God-given feeling for us to want to be known. But the problem comes in when we twist that and alter it from wanting to be known by him
Yeah.
and wanting to be known by the people around us.
Yeah, by others, right?
Yeah. That becomes the big problem.
Yeah. And I'm just glad that we're talking about the normalizing, because I think, at least for my generation, I came to know the Lord 25 years ago. So I'm doing the math, but that's the early 2000s. And like, it was just this, like, it was commonplace to, oh, I'm going to be on the platform. I'm going to be on that stage over there.
Yeah.
And how there's just been heart postures that have changed.
Yeah.
But also
Thankfully.
recognizing how unhealthy that was and what it really can look like.
Yeah. Yeah. When we started preparing for this conversation, I came across some really cool quotes that I brought with me today because they were really revealing, I guess you could say. Because I think all of us at some, even if you would not want to admit it, and no one would want to admit it out loud.
Yeah.
But we all have this very deep down desire to prove yourself, right?
Yeah,
To
for
prove
sure.
that you're taking up the right
Because
amount of
it
space.
brings this affirmation to yourself that you're looking where you don't feel like you have anything to prove. You're like, please, somebody else say it so I feel better about it. Yeah.
Yes, right. I know.
Yeah.
So just take the weight off. Everybody
Yeah.
has this
Yeah.
weird feeling about it.
Yeah.
But I found this quote by Jordan Rayner. He wrote this book called what is it called? Called to Create. I was like, shoot, I didn't bring the book. What's it called? Called to Create. But it was just, okay, this is good. I'll just read it. It says, the world offers many motivations for entrepreneurs. Money, power, status, and influence are just a few. Obviously, we can take this as you, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. But all of these motivations can be summed up in this deep-seated desire to make a name for ourselves. At our core, we know there's something deeply wrong with us, and we work insanely hard to prove to the world that we're not a chump, to prove that we're valuable, and to prove that our life is meaningful. And I think that is so, I think it's just revealing about all of us, because even though you can kind of know in the back of your head what God speaks over you, you still have this feeling to be like, but Danielle, do you know I'm really good down deep in my heart?
Yeah.
Do you know that my soul is nice? Like, do you know, you have this desire, especially when you've put a lot of effort into something, or you feel, I've been working so hard on this thing and nobody sees my effort. I've been so faithful in this area and nobody's rewarding me for it. The things that don't get an applause, like it's this weird inside thing. I
Yeah.
think that we have to feel like we have to prove that.
Well, I think at the end of the day, like, the enemy's job is to steal, kill, destroy. And if you have this, I'm not going to, superpower feels like it's a strong term, but it is this gift that the Lord has given you. And he would do anything to shut that down.
100%.
And so for you to question any business of the giftings that God's given you. And I do think that there is some importance of having someone speak over you and somebody trusted speak over you.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, that's what but ultimately, if it doesn't come from God, then it's literally just squat. Like, it means not, you know what I mean? And so there is something so powerful about recognizing that in others, but also like checking your heart in that process of, but why? Why do I do the thing in the hidden? Why do I constantly strive in this area?
Yeah.
I
think that's, I just lost what it was that triggered me that you said, but it's so important to realize that, checking your heart. That's where I was. I was like, there was something so important there. Checking your heart. It's a constant, because I know visually someone might look at me, and I don't like to dress ho-hum. Like, I want to do my own thing a lot of the times. I'm on the platform leading worship. I speak as you do. Like, there's a lot of things that would put me out in the forefront.
Sure.
But what people, and so you could look at that and go, well, that's what you're doing. You're making a name for yourself. You're putting yourself out. I'm like, but you don't understand. Like, if the focus is actually me, there was a time back when we first started the church where we would do kind of a special song, right? If it would kind of line up with the message series, and we'd do like a secular song.
I forgot about that.
I know,
that was a
so
long time ago. Yeah.
But I would have to stand over a trash can until the very second I had to walk out and do it.
Wow.
Because it was the difference of when I'm leading worship, it is not about me. I know some people are going to be out there looking at me, but that's their problem. Like, I'm not there for me.
Sure.
And I'm not there for them. I'm there to do what God's called me to do. But when I'm out there to sing a song and literally just be stared at, I was like, oh.
And it was. That's exactly what it was. I know that the heart behind while we did that, but gosh, I'm so glad we don't do that anymore.
I am too. It was the most uncomfortable thing on the planet, and I'm so glad it's over.
All about that. Woo! Yeah, that's funny.
But that's where that checking your heart comes in, because it's a fine line, especially if you are in any version of the creative world. You know, you're putting stuff out there for the world to see, and you feel validated or you don't, and there's a lot of, it's great. And I am a proponent of do not dim yourself down. Don't shrink back in the gifts God's giving you. Use them, and God's going to give you a bigger platform to use them. Mm-hmm. But why? It's because He's got a calling on your life, and we're here to do this big.
Yeah.
But it's that heart posture, like you said. And when you look back in the Bible, it never goes well if people turn that for themselves. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest, the example I'm going to bring up is the Tower of Babel. It sounds so dramatic, but it was this whole community that was like, we're going to build this tower that reaches to the heavens.
Be the best.
Yeah, they said, this will make us famous. Yeah. Another translation says, we're going to make a name for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And what happened? God like completely destroyed their
said, no, you
link.
won't.
Yeah. Gave them all different languages. They scattered across the whole world, stopped it in its tracks. Yeah. Because it was all about them. Mm. And I know what you're thinking. That's very dramatic, Jen. I am not trying to take over the world. But the problem comes when you turn, you can grow something that maybe was a natural desire into an idol. And you can be like, I have to be known. I have to be seen. I have to. And before you know it, that's your focus rather than what has God called me to walk in.
Yeah, because I think it's important to ask, like, why am I so uncomfortable with being in the hidden? Yeah. Especially if there's this sweetness where the Lord is wanting to grow you. We were talking to one of our girlfriends this past, I guess it was last month, and she said, I really just feel like the Lord is calling me just to kind of like tuck in and hide away with Him. Yeah. Like, and I just had this imagery of this seed. But why is that so uncomfortable? Yeah. To settle in with that and just be okay to not be on platform or to be seen regardless. Take away a stage. Yeah. Why is that such a struggle?
Yeah. It's kind of,
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we talked about it earlier, but we do measure ourselves off of, I would never forget, like, oh my gosh, it would be, if I measured myself every time I stepped off a platform from speaking, I would never
be doing it.
I would never ever go back. Yeah. And I almost didn't because I was like, nope, this is not it. This is not it, Lord. You have messed this up. This is not it. But it turns out the Lord's just looking for you to have your heart in the right place. Mm-hmm. And also being obedient with whatever He's called you to. Yeah. There's a pressure of social media, especially whenever, gosh, like I remember when we first planted the church and seeing like what that church would do and look at what that church would do. And we're like, great, we had 100 people, and like 100 people is a huge win.
It's great. Yeah.
It's great. You're seeing salvations every single week. Yeah. And it still felt away. Yeah. Because we were measuring. It was a different type of measure. Mm-hmm.
I had to unfollow them all. Oh, I couldn't. I remember you telling me that. I still follow very few churches. Yeah, because it's not wrong for everybody, but it was wrong for me because I get so sucked up in it, and I would feel like we were doing nothing. Yeah, and it was almost like God was like, "Are you taking this away from me? Yeah. Like, are you trying to discredit for every one human being that says yes to the Lord?" Yeah. That's a big stinking deal.
And we do celebrate every salvation.
Oh, everyone. Yeah, every single one. Mm-hmm. But it was like, because they're their lights were better. This one's salvation wasn't good enough for you.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, heck, I will not be that person.
Yeah.
I will not.
Yeah.
So I unfollowed like all these
Yeah.
churches, all these creative accounts. And it did my soul a lot of good.
You plucked that eyeball right on out. That's what it is. That was your way of doing it. Yeah. Let's talk about how you can also experience burnout from just like performing, where you're trying to prove yourself. Because I think that that's something that we commonly experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, red flag, red flag. We see what, like, please, like, for the sake of your own health.
Yes. Yeah.
Take a beat.
Because so many times we can find our identity in what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing that thing, I remember once, through the worship ministry at Cultivate, where we are, there was somebody that was coming through that wanted to play guitar and it just wasn't going to be the right fit. And they said to me, I was like, it's just going to be a little bit of time. Like, we can get this figured out. We just need maybe, I can't remember if it was adjusting to using the click track or it was something simple. It was like, we're going to get this figured out. And he was like, I can't believe you would do this to me. If I don't play guitar, I don't know who I am. And I was like, that's the most heartbreaking thing you could say over your life. Yeah. Like, but it's like when you identify with this thing, you're never looking back to the Lord and who He's, and then you will experience burnout. Like, I'm going to walk through seasons where I'm exhausted. I might be stressed. But I've never burnt out because my why falls into the Lord's hands.
Yeah, you're answering to Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
there
to
might
others.
be seasons where I'm like, do not give me one more thing or I will literally have a heart attack. But that's my own human. I lacked boundaries or there's something else.
Sure.
But like, if you get distracted into am I doing enough? Am I being seen enough? Am I being appreciated because of what I'm doing enough? That's where burnout is going to come.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think about like how you could just easily lose any sort of joy in your serve.
100%.
Because you're doing it for the wrong person.
Yeah.
And I just specifically with the role that I have here at the church, gosh, like every person to me, I'm like, God has this gift in you. God has this gift in you. Like, and some people, it is the gift of leadership. But I also understand that struggle with a title is going to carry far more weight than what it should ever. So I'd care so much more about like loving on them and taking care of them as opposed to just saying, hey, here's a title, run with it.
Yeah.
I remember I mentioned earlier about how I came to know the Lord. It was 1999 to be exact. But graduated at in the early 2000s, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but everything was a prayer of Jabez.
Oh yeah,
Like it was Jeremiah 29, 11, and 12, and then it was the prayer of Jabez. And I mean, there were like full on books written about this specific prayer, and I had to like pull it out because it's been a minute. And I say that because it was such a trigger for me. Because my heart posture was not in the right place when praying it.
Gotcha.
And so, but I'm going to bring it out just because.
Bust it out.
Yeah, it says, oh, that you would bless me and expand my territory. Please be with me in all that I do and keep me from all trouble and pain. And then God granted him his request. Like, incredible prayer request. Like, yes, enlarge my territory. Give me this influence. Da-da-da-da-da. Except if your heart ain't in the right place, you don't want any of those things.
It's true. Yeah.
And I remember like having this aha moment with the Lord and telling him, this is well before I served in any sort of role. I'll just clean toilets.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I am content. Like, I want to be used by you in whatever capacity that looks like.
Yeah.
But if that looks like me scrubbing toilets, and I'm not saying that to say it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a genuine.
No, I've seen you. I've stood over you watching you scrub toilets.
I told you, get that spot.
No, but that was the start of the church. It was all hands on deck. It was scrubbing toilets.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Actually,
as I think about that,
that's
I'm
another
like,
trigger, actually.
Yeah, that's a different trigger. The Lord was like, oh yeah, clean those toilets.
Let's see.
Did that. But
Oh
I
my
care
gosh.
so much about people.
Yeah.
Because I would never want them to miss the goodness and who he is over our own desire to be seen in place of him.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, Here at Cultivate Church, we are very particular with our language, and some people get annoyed by it. I don't care. It's not to be persnickety about something or to be any kind of like, whatever. We just are your mental thought process. I don't know, whatever. Your mental space is going to follow the words you say. And so while, for example, while a lot of people will call going to church a service,
Yeah.
we call it an experience,
sure.
a worship
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And why? It's because you can mentally go to a church service and have checked off a box and done your thing. Whereas if you mentally think, I'm going to a worship experience, you have already told yourself you're going to experience something. That means I'm participating. That means I'm a part of this. And it's not a to-do list item. It's, that's just one example. But one example that we're very passionate about, maybe this is just me because this is where I stand, but we never call it a stage. It's always called a platform.
Yeah. It felt weird for me to even say that earlier.
Yeah.
When I said stage, I was like, ew.
I'll be at a concert and be like, ooh, a stage. I'm like, oh yeah,
No, that's what it is.
It literally is a stage here. But just because I don't want anyone to step on that platform and not remember to hold it with reverence, to go, this isn't a stage. We don't perform here. We don't perform here.
Yeah.
We are here because we've been given a message from the Lord and it's ours to deliver.
Yeah.
And that's, I know it's just a small verbiage thing, but it's the thing that makes you take a check in your spirit. It is that heart check.
Yeah.
To go, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if I'm here and man, God has been so faithful over the years. The days where we think we blew it, right?
Yeah.
We'll know all the wrong words. We'll know all the wrong notes. We'll know this happened and it was a disaster. People will be like, man, worship was so moving today.
Yeah.
God just did something amazing. And I'm like, well, of course he did.
Yeah.
Because the second it rises and falls on our perfection, we're doomed. Doomed.
So you have to be comfortable with being in the hidden.
Yes.
And I think that that's the sweetest spot
Yeah.
in any bit of it. I wrote this out, and so I want to read it because, it's good. So,
Because it's dang good. So
but I want you to hear hard on this.
Yeah.
And, don't confuse being overlooked with being unworthy. Just because others fail to notice your gifts, needs, or values doesn't mean that those things don't exist. I want you to hear me. Your worth is not up for debate.
Yeah.
People missing you is not the same as being missable. So remember, you have worth, you have gifts, you have needs, you have value that is literally on purpose for a purpose.
Yeah.
And so let's not ever allow for the enemy to come in and speak any sort of thing that we know. Like, we know, why is he working so hard to call shame here? Why is he doing so many things because he's got something sweet in the hidden. God does. He has something beautiful that he's wanting to develop in you. And you're just not going to start out as a mighty oak tree.
You're not.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about David.
Yeah.
Of all the people who was handpicked by God, but completely overlooked by the people around him. They didn't even go get the brother, whatever. They were looking for the king. Samuel comes and they're like, nah, man. They're like, he's like,
This
this is
is it.
everybody die.
That's
We
it.
left him out in the field, man. Like, he wasn't even up for debate. Like, he wasn't an option. But that's who God had handpicked. And so it matters not what other people's opinion is or what they're thinking of you or how qualified you are, or how qualified they feel like you are for any certain thing. It's what, because God can see all the way through.
And what does it even profit? What if everybody thinks I'm amazing and I am completely missing it with the Lord? Like, what does that profit?
Nothing.
Don't give me any of that. I'm missing the right term on this, but it's basically hogwash is what I'm thinking.
It's hogwash.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think about the woman at the well and how she was literally an outcast. It was like a triple outcast. She was first female, she was a Samaritan, and she was morally shamed.
I got nervous when you said she was first female. What? Well, sorry.
She wasn't
Go
at
on.
the well in 2025. It's different.
Move on.
But the thing is like, one, Jesus pursued her. He pursued and knew her and still
good.
stayed with her and heard her.
Even knowing.
And then she was the first to say, oh my gosh, like this is the Messiah. This is the King of Kings. Like this is, and it was a woman that literally was just being hidden.
Yeah.
That felt like she couldn't even go to the well with the other women.
Yeah.
Because she was such an outcast.
Man, that's so cool. Jesus is, he's just so sweet.
Yeah.
The way he's handled.
Yeah.
Specifically women, but people in general. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to read one more quote because it ties into this so well.
Yeah.
It's from Robert McGee. He says, rather than relying on God's steady, uplifting reassurance of who we are, we depend on others who base our worth on our ability to meet their standards. Because our performance and ability to please others so dominates our search for significance, we have difficulty recognizing the distinction between our real identity and the way we behave. And it's a realization crucial to understanding our true worth. Our true value is not based on our behavior or the approval of others, but on what God's word says of us.
Yeah.
And I think that is so, it's just profound because it's true. We can get so distracted when you have those feelings of being unseen. You'll get distracted to where it just monopolizes your thoughts about what does someone else think of me. Mm-hmm. And then you really truly are living to their standards and not to God's standards. And so it matters not.
Yeah.
Like it's pointless. It's worthless because you're not making headway in what God's called you to do.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing that even if truly no one sees you, even if truly, knowing that at the heart of it all, God still really, really does. Yeah. And even when he does know the heart, he does know the inside bits of it.
That's right. Yeah.
And he still does.
Yeah. I think about Hagar and how he literally revealed himself as I am the God who sees. And you talk about being thrown out and feeling shame and feeling all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
And yet he revealed himself as that way. And so if he does it for her, he will do it for you.
Yeah.
You had this really beautiful quote that you were telling me about earlier. Do you have that?
It was just, let me grab it.
Okay.
Because we got lost in this topic, just researching and reading all the things, because there's so many beautiful things about the way God shows up for us. And so it was like, how do we narrow this down?
Sure.
But I will read this to you. It came from a blog, but it just says he sees. He says, when you're 25 and overlooked for the promotion you've been working for 2 years, he sees your hard work when your boss doesn't. At 30 and still single, he sees the inner workings of your heart and enjoys them when Friday night doesn't mean date night. When you're caring for a sick parent or a child or a friend from church, 4 doctor's appointments in 1 week, he sees your outpouring. Even when your best friends may not know the anniversary of your mom's death or the hours you spend holding your frightened child in the dark or how you fight for your marriage in secret prayer, but he does. And it says in his eyes, those tender eyes that don't miss one single movement of your heart, one single glance back at him, it's those eyes that study you and they change everything. And it's just so beautiful because he does, working through all of the situations we walk through in life. Like it can feel so mundane and you're like, why am I still doing this thing? But it's all those little things that aren't applauded. They aren't given awards. They aren't recognized even, that are building who you're going to be tomorrow. And then the next day, and one day you wake up and go, wow, look what the Lord's done in my life. And you're like, this is a legacy I've been building. And it wasn't on the shoulders of like fame and fortune, but it was on the back of daily obedience and walking in what he's called me to and not getting distracted by what anybody else thinks I should be or do.
Yeah. I was thinking back as you were reading that, if there was ever a moment in all of my walk with the Lord, it's the moments where I'm like, gosh, I feel so seen by you, God.
Yeah.
And there's no value to that.
Yeah.
Because when you are, and we all want to be seen by the living God, and we are, but we want to know that we're seen.
Yeah.
And so if you're too busy being distracted looking for others to see you, you're going to miss that tenderness where I love that, where his eyes change everything. Yeah. Like the fact that he sees you and you know it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's so good. You know, I think it was Rick Warren that's kind of famous for saying this a lot, but if he didn't, then I'll say this is mine. But I have a quote that says, when you feel invisible, keep your eyes on the invisible. And it's saying when you feel invisible, keep your eyes on what is actually truly invisible. It's the Lord. Keep your eyes on the Lord. Good. And 2 Corinthians tells us in chapter 4, says our present troubles are small and won't last for very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So we don't look at troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that can't be seen, the invisible. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we can't see will last forever. And so that's where we've got to put our stock, in the eternal, in the Lord and his faithfulness. And we've got to shift who's allowed to speak into forming our identity.
Sure.
And let that just be the voice of the Lord and not the voice of the people around us.
Well, and just to be okay with, even if it is just God, if he's the only one that sees, that's enough. Because that's where the healing happens and you're able to take your next step.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, at the end of the day, it's never actually just him. We feel it. We feel it. You know, I actually watched, this is going to feel offbeat, but I watched this documentary on J-Lo the other day. And she had just gotten ready she'd performed the Super Bowl and she was getting ready for the Met Gala and all these things. And she was like, I don't know. Like I can't remember all the quotes she actually said in that, but it was like this constant thought of, when will I ever be good enough? I'm not good enough. Like, nobody sees what I do. Nobody sees my work. And I'm thinking,
J-Lo,
if you don't think anybody sees your work, I'm in trouble. Like, I was like, wow. But you will never get to a place where you feel satisfied by the people around you.
Yeah.
But they do see you. They do realize your work. They do. They may not say it. You may not take stock in it. You may not understand. But more, when you get obsessed with that feeling, it will never be satisfied.
That's what I was just thinking. J-Lo, literally, like, everyone knows.
Yeah.
But it's never something that's satisfying. It's never satisfying to know. Yeah. And that is the difference between when others see versus when God sees.
Yeah. So you've got to let him be enough. I'm going to read one scripture. Let me find it. Just because when other people don't see, we know that God does see.
Yeah.
And I know that feels so churchy. I know.
Yeah, but when you experience it, it's not churchy. That's
the thing.
That's life.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When you've experienced it, it's not a churchy answer.
Yeah.
It is your dadgum heartbeat.
Yeah.
My heart knows that I don't care what anybody else thinks of me, not in a haughty way, but I want to know at the end of my days that I was never famous, was never popular, but I had longevity. I stuck it out. And in the end, God said, thank you for just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm after. In this culture where, I mean, I know that even our pastors have walked through this of like, if one more of our church people quote Stephen Furtick at me, I'm going to lose my mind. Not because there's any disrespect for Stephen Furtick, but he's like, the local church is pastoring you.
Yeah.
And we're not here for celebrity.
Yeah.
Again, not against whatever.
Yeah.
But we're not here for chasing someone else.
Sure.
You're in a local church and planted, and people are doing God's work. And at the end of the day, it's God that you want to look down and go,
yes,
you did it.
Yeah.
I called you in every step I asked you
That's
to.
so
You said
good.
yes, and you walked in it.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah. Because you said it, I kind of want to just carry on. Because you opened the door. It's not about J-Lo, but that is.
It ain't about J-Lo, but we like J-Lo, but we do.
She's got some cute movies. But in the world of pastoring, I have become so much more aware because one, we see it firsthand between our husbands, but also I'm seeing it clearly that the word that the Lord has given our pastors for this community is an on-time word for here and now.
Yep.
Now, could the Lord use someone else that's speaking for you to listen to and be like, that's great. Like but there's an on-time word for your community right now. And that's what you need to lean into.
That's
okay.
Right.
All right. Finish. Door closed.
So about the Bible. No, this is very true.
Yeah.
But, Since we're on it. But like, just, I looked down at this verse, and right before it says God sees. And I was like, that's exactly it, though.
Yeah.
We just prayed in our last podcast about setting the lonely in families and trusting that God has the right people for you. And if you're in a local house,
Yeah.
a local church, those
Yeah.
are your people.
Yeah.
Let them be your people.
That's right.
That's going to be good. It's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly because it's honest.
That's right.
And God sees.
Yeah.
He's ordained all the things out.
He's okay with the messy.
Ain't that truth?
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But Psalms 139, I'm going to read verses 1 through 4. It just says, "Oh Lord, you've examined my heart, and you know everything about me. You know when I sit down or when I stand up. You know my thoughts, even when I'm far away." And there's so much grace just in that, even when I'm far away. "You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I'm going to say, even before I say it." And when you read those words and know that that's our God, that's our Lord, those are his eyes that see you. And they know he knows more than any human could ever know about you. I mean, my husband is the one who knows me the best. And there are things that he will never know like God knows.
Yeah.
And there's something so striking about that.
Yeah.
So comforting about that. If we'll let that be the important thing.
Yeah, that's so good.